Welcome one and all to my final light machine gun workshop, at least for now, the Finn light machine gun. Finally giving us an LMG from the good old US of A, the Finn has quickly become my favorite LMG to run whenever I actually want to run one. The Finn has a couple of attachments that affect how this weapon performs in general, so this intro may be a little longer than you anticipated. The base Finn has a base damage equal to the Holger, but it does have a hefty upper chest multiplier that allows this weapon to be a 3 to 4 shot kill. Oddly enough, this weapon has no headshot multiplier, so I would just aim for center of mass when using this weapon. The rate of fire for the base Finn is a little below average, hanging around 640 rounds per minute, so it is on the slower side, but it just makes it more controllable in my opinion. Unfortunately, the base weapon has a maximum damage range of only 30 meters, so it has the shortest 3-shot kill potential of any LMG, if I'm remembering correctly. The base version of this weapon also has extremely low and easily manageable recoil. So what we have for the base version is a slower firing, harder hitting LMG that is extremely accurate and has a 75 round belt standard. Moving on to the unique barrels for this weapon, we have what are called adverse barrels. These barrels completely change how this weapon performs, so let's go over that quickly. First off, these adverse barrels reduce our base damage quite a bit and change the upper torso/headshot multiplier to make this weapon a 4 to 5 shot kill with no 3-shot kill possible. To make up for this much lower damage and to help keep this weapon balanced, these barrels drive the fire rate of this weapon from 640 all the way up to over 1,000 rounds per minute, which, if you couldn't tell, is an insane increase. The ranges on this barrel are also reduced, where a guaranteed 4-shot kill is only up to about 20-ish meters or so it's even worse than the base barrel. The recoil is also increased a good amount, but it's still basically all vertical, so it should be easy enough to compensate for. Phew! With all that out of the way, let's finally get to the fun stuff and check out 2 great builds for this fun LMG. The Freakshow is my close-range variant of the Finn, designed around speed and lethality. We start off in the barrel section with the FTAC VC8 Harrier adverse barrel for that increased rate of fire, and a boost to our ADS speed at the cost of range. Next, the TAC laser further drives our ADS speed to be even faster, while also stabilizing our aim. I remove the stock for faster handling overall, in terms of both movement and ADS speed. Sleight of hand is a nice boost to this weapon, as it shaves about 1.5 seconds off the reload time. And we end with the operator foregrip to keep us as mobile as ever while fighting some of that increased recoil. The Freakshow took me a long time to develop. Now, that's not because I have some sort of diminished mental capacity in what I want to create. Rather, some of these attachments come rather late in the unlock cycle, so it can take a while to get this build made. The adverse barrel is great for up-close fighting, as the super high rate of fire and very manageable recoil means you can melt entire squads of people in standard multiplayer and ground war. All the while, the TAC laser and no-stock attachments keep you mobile and quick enough to be able to handle surprise enemy encounters, while also allowing for quick flanks. Sleight of hand isn't truly needed like it is on some LMGs, but I like the speed of it. It matches everything else this build is going for. The operator foregrip remains a staple of my builds for its relative quickness and its decent recoil reduction properties. This build is best for standard multiplayer and ground war. Warzone may simply have firefights happening over distances that simply aren't viable for a build of this style. For my variant focused on longer range fighting, I've come up with the cover fire. Built to be as accurate and reliable as possible, we start off with the XRK long shot advantage barrel to boost our damage range up to almost 40 meters, while also heavily cutting down on vertical recoil. Next, I use the TAC laser to again keep our ADS speed fairly respectable, but mostly to keep our aim steady for when we need to lay down fire over longer ranges. The VLK 3x optic makes a not so surprising appearance yet again to engage distant targets while also reducing recoil even further. Sleight of hand is just here for convenience, and the Ranger foregrip rounds off this variant by stabilizing our aim and even further reducing recoil. If you want by far the most accurate and low recoil LMG available, then I honestly don't think you can do any better than the cover fire. The long shot barrel, the VLK sight, and the Ranger foregrip all pummel the recoil into the ground, so you don't need too much help in that department. The TAC laser works well with the Ranger foregrip to keep our aim very stable and our recoil pattern very consistent. Again, sleight of hand isn't necessary, but it seems to work well enough for me. If you did want to kit this specifically for Warzone, simply replace the tac laser with a suppressor of any kind, and you'll have a weapon that performs almost exactly the same. This laser beam of a weapon performs rather poorly in standard multiplayer since it's so slow, but it shines its brightest in Ground War and Warzone. And that's all, folks. The Finn has been covered, and that'll do it for the entirety of the LMG category. This weapon was a blast to use once I eventually unlocked it, which, thankfully, that challenge was much easier to do than it was for the Bruin. You only have to get a single melee kill with an LMG in 5 different matches to unlock this gun. I had seen other people using it before I unlocked it, and I thought the adverse barrel was a beast, which it still is. However, after using both of these builds, I still prefer the base barrels over the adverse barrels simply because they're so pinpoint accurate. Granted, the adverse barrels are great in standard multiplayer, but I mostly use LMGs in Ground War and pretend that I'm playing Battlefield, so the accuracy and the sound of this weapon just feel great to me. This weapon can be either very fast and melt, or it can be a long-range monster that disintegrates people. Either way, once you unlock this weapon and grind for some good attachments, I'm sure all you LMG fans out there will fall in love with this weapon as I did. And that's all the time I've got. That intro took up a ton of your time, so I appreciate you all sticking through it and hearing me out for this whole video. I'm glad I'm able to bring you all this content so frequently, and I really enjoy the whole creative process of it. If you liked the video, feel free to like it and comment your thoughts on the weapon. If you don't like it, then I'm glad you stayed this long. I appreciate your consideration for my efforts. Either way, this has been Doodleman149, you've been awesome, and I will see you later.